I've told you before that the word socialist for the American right has become just like a meaningless catch-all insult that doesn't actually have anything to do with what socialism is as a form of government, as a form of an economy. Socialism is, in its simplest form, a system where ownership of the means of production is socialized. There are different versions of it. We can debate whether we should be for or against it, but socialism is socialism. It's not other stuff that you don't like. Emma Vigeland from TYT, I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly, interviewed a Trump supporter. And this Trump supporter may be the dumbest Trump supporter I have ever seen interviewed, period. And that takes a lot. I mean, it takes a lot to even potentially get to that level. The woman that Emma interviews says that Joe Biden is a socialist. Now, of course, if you look at the Democratic field, you would realize that Joe Biden would be likely the furthest from the socialist of those candidates currently running in the Democratic primary. Emma asks basic follow-up questions like, what do you mean Joe Biden's a socialist? And then it gets really good. If you're listening and not watching, just bear in mind that the woman is wearing, obviously, a red MAGA hat during the interview.
Do you think Joe Biden is a socialist?
Yes.
How would you define socialism?
I define socialism when you bring down your own country, your own race, because he's not black. And
What does that mean? Bringing him down to black people? Is that what you're saying?
no, he's saying that the white people, he doesn't look at himself in the mirror.
Okay, so it's already insane. He's a socialist because he's bringing down his own country and race, and he's not black. What? Like, what does that even mean? I'm not even understanding the language that's being used, never mind the underlying sentiment that this woman is trying to communicate. Let's continue. She tries another definition, and Emma is actually so perplexed by the stupidity of this person. She's visibly struggling to even unpack this and ask follow-up questions because you can't unpack complete and utter nonsense.
So
That's what I look at. Hey, you talk about the white people, and look at you.
well, he actually,
You know I don't like him? I'll tell you exactly why I don't like him. He's got a big ego. He thinks he's better than God.
Trump said he could shoot someone in the middle of Fifth Avenue and get away with it.
No, I don't think so.
He did say that.
No, he didn't. No,
It's on tape.
no, I don't believe it. No, that's fake.
I swear to God, you can watch it.
Fake news, fake news.
Okay, this part is actually really scary. Trump obviously did say that he could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and not lose support. This is how the minds of these people work. They hear something that they don't like. They just deny it exists. And this is why you can't reason with these people. And I'm going to say more about that later.
Fake news. Fake news.
Okay. Do you want to watch the video?
They say, I have the most loyal people. Did you ever see that? Where I could stand in the middle of Fifth Avenue and shoot somebody and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay? It's like incredible.
Any of the Democrats, do any of them appeal to you?
Liars. All liars. The Pinocchio keeps growing.
Okay.
And then you yourself won't have a country. You yourself won't have a country. Keep believing all these liars, and you yourself will be out of your country. Socialism doesn't work wherever it goes.
But why is Joe Biden a socialist?
Why is Joe Biden a socialist? Because it's all about the money. I mean,
But socialism is about...
you know, the thing is that Joe Biden is all about the money. It's all about the power, the money. That's why.
Trump's a billionaire.
Yes, and so is Joe Biden.
No.
Yes, 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 yes.
Trump went bankrupt 4 times.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. And that's business.
But he did.
How many people? Okay, you go bankrupt. How many people don't start all over again after a bankruptcy?
So this is severe idiocy. That's all. I mean, this is not a person who's simply mentally ill, right? That's not what we're talking about here. Sure, there may be some personality disorders going on there. Who knows? But this is someone who's simply severely brainwashed. Biden is a socialist because he's all about the money, and Biden is a billionaire. Biden is, of course, not a billionaire. And if he were a billionaire in a country where most people can't even meet a $400 expense that's unexpected, he probably would not be a socialist. And the most important takeaway I want you to glean from this is that we can't convince these people that Trump is toxic, that he's bad for the country, that he's bad for the world, and not to vote for him. You can't convince these people because they reason backwards. Facts have no effect on them. They come up with an idea like Biden's a socialist, and they will attribute to that anything. Biden's a socialist because of something about his race. Biden's a socialist because he's all about the money. Biden's a socialist because he's a billionaire. So when I say don't worry about them, I don't mean don't worry about the fact that people like this are what got Trump elected and have done so much damage to this country. What I mean is, let's just get left-wingers to vote. It's a much better campaign strategy, and this is an example of why. How long would it take you to convince this woman to vote for someone other than Trump? Would it take 5 hours? Would it take 10 hours? If we got like the most influential and effectively convincing progressive minds in a room with this woman, would it take 100 hours to convince her to vote for someone other than Trump? How many people who already dislike Trump, but are sort of on the fence about whether they want to vote at all, could we simply talk to and say, listen, here's why you should vote. Let's get you registered. Here's why voting is important. I believe that in the time it would take to convince this one woman to vote for someone other than Trump, if it were even possible, we could be convincing dozens or hundreds of people to vote for someone other than Trump who already are sensitive to the anti-Trump ideology. So as I've said before, I do a show, right? I believe in dialogue. Emma works for TYT. It makes sense for her to talk to this woman. I take phone calls from Trumpists and from right-wingers. But I'm doing a show, right, as a campaign strategy, as a get out the vote strategy, as a strategy to defeat Donald Trump in 2020. Don't waste your time with these people because there is no sense in it. You cannot convince them, or if you could, the amount of time it would take would not make any sense to actually spend, okay? They're a lost cause for the purposes of winning elections the way we want to win them. Let me know what you think. I'm on Twitter at @DPakman. The show is on Twitter at David Pakman Show. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button down below. If you love learning new things, you probably want to check this out. The David Pakman Show today is sponsored by Skillshare, and we're giving you 2 entire months of free access to Skillshare when you click the link underneath this video. Skillshare is a vibrant online learning community offering more than 25,000 video classes on just about anything you can think of. Get better at playing an instrument. Learn to use Photoshop, how to edit videos. They have classes on drawing, painting, business, cooking, nutrition, personal productivity, and I'm not even really scratching the surface. I recently took a great class on introductory watercolor painting. I'm still not good, but I am learning, and you can access the entire library of fun, easy to use online courses for free for 2 months by using the link underneath this video. 2 months of learning something that's totally new to you, something you want to get better at, something you already love, or you can get ahead in your career by learning new skills that will help you at your job. I've gotten a ton out of it. Pat has taken some courses that he's found really valuable, and I think you'll love it too. Get started for free by clicking the link under this video.